then I'm afraid you're going to have to work for a living like everybody else. Yes, there's no welfare state, no child benefits, so every 7-year-old is expected to at least contribute towards the household income. These King's schools, though, that would have the King's name attached to them, they would be funded by your local borough council in your town, and if they have the King's name, any boy from any background is welcome to attend. But it does mean your family, first of all, has to be able to afford you not to be working, and me as your schoolmaster, and you'll find my name in the year I taught here, 1577, Magister Thomas Jenkins. So I'm only obliged to accept you as a student if you volunteer. What does that tell me about any boy volunteering to attend school? Aside from the fact they're slightly strange. Anyone?
Got money.
Well, the fact that they're here it sort of leads us to that conclusion. Yes, so they're certainly wealthy enough to be attending school, but more important than that, because money does not make brains, does it?
Desire to learn.
The desire to learn. I would rather have a schoolroom full of students that have a desire to learn than a room full of billionaires. Show me a room full of billionaires and I'll show you a room full of lazy people. They expect other people to do the thinking and working for them. But if you have a desire to learn, then as a teacher, it makes my life easier, doesn't it? And if you have an entire classroom full of them, then I know which boys in society should be given the reward of social mobility. Because if you have a desire to learn, it shows me you have an ambition. Every time you inherit or get given something, it's because by sheer dint of you being there, do you value that particular object or that actual skill? So within this classroom, we're going to be adopting the Greek and Roman principles of education that Plato put into place, that education should not be a competition nor forced, which is why you're here voluntarily. So we know any boy that comes to school should be the only men in society rewarded with social mobility. Because in the medieval England, those that inherited the roles with the finances and the wealth, unfortunately, made very poor leaders and had a very poor moral fibre. In fact, after the Wars of the Roses, these very same men that survived the wars were rebelling against the king himself. So what do you do if you, after chopping off their heads, you need to replace them? And this is where the King's School come into it. So, did you all enjoy school? Any fans of homework and exams amongst us? One. I'm afraid to say, you're being pointed at, by the way. Is that because you get to write them? That's why you're a fan of homework and exams. Might be, okay. But to have homework, to have exams, to have all the things we take for granted in schools today, well, how much of that exists in 1571 when Shakespeare would have been a 7-year-old? The pencil has only just been invented. So if you can afford a pencil, well done, because they're going to be hugely expensive, but where are you getting the paper from? In fact, a blank exercise book would be like buying a brand new laptop for school every day. So these resources just will not be available to you. In fact, everything you're going to learn in this classroom won't be necessarily coming from me. And those of you that don't enjoy homework and exams, you'll be happy to hear they're deemed irrelevant in the 16th century. We're going to be adopting Plato's style of teaching, where you're going to learn through interaction. You're going to learn through teaching. So where the 4 of you are sat, you're my youngest. Welcome 7-year-olds. Your childhood has officially ended, so your mewling and puking in your nurse's arms has come to an end. You are now into your second age and willingly snail like creeping to school. And every morning, this is the doorway you'll be entering the upper floor from. The staircase you walked up won't yet be built. But there'll be a corridor running along here, separating this one room from the empty council chamber through there, and my living quarters through there. And 40 to 60 of you would be in this one classroom. Yes, 40 to 60, and that number could vary, because if you're here voluntarily and your family has other responsibilities for you to do, then I expect you to be there. But if you're here, then you're here to learn. So 7-year-olds, everything you're going to learn in the next 7 years, any boy older than you has already mastered. Well, they must have done, because they moved on. And instead of an exam showing me how well you've understood and retained that knowledge, you're going to be charged with the responsibility of teaching assistant. So 7-year-olds, 8 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds facing you. And you would make up my least experienced boys, so you're the first or lower form. Second form, if we had any in today, 10-year-olds. And then we move into my more knowledgeable, expectant last upper formers. So 11-year-olds, welcome third formers. Fourth form, 12-year-olds. Fifth form, have a guess. 11, 12, 13. There we go. Sixth form, 14-year-olds. So everyone on this side of the room has already completed the lessons that you're about to undertake. So to show me how well you retained them, understood them, can you now teach them? So I will set the lessons up. We'll all be doing the same subject matter. Obviously, young people will be doing more simplified versions while you be doing more